Uh-oh, hope you ain't afraid of no scraps today, because it's Scrap Master time, folks. Happy Friday. Rob Appell here, and I'm super excited to start on our newest series with some new blocks, some new scraps, and a wonderful quilt, we hope, in front of us. Are you ready? Let's get started. Well, welcome back, Scrap Masters. Yes, I am super blessed to see all of you out there on YouTube, and happy Halloween to all of you who like to get dressed up. Of course, we do here at Stitchin Heaven, and it's great to see you out there. So, question of the day as we're getting started. Don't forget, this video is set as a premiere. So if you're watching along on Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, please join us in the chat, join all of your friends. And the question du jour is, what are you dressing if you are for Halloween? Or if not, what is the favorite Halloween costume you've ever seen out there? Let us know. Let us know who's out there and where you're coming from. It's fantastic to see you. Yes, this is Scrap Masters Series 2, and I'm not sure if I'm going to really keep track too much of the weeks as we go along moving forward. I am super excited for Slimer and I to present to you the quilted version. Yes, most of you saw it last week, but here it is. I will have it presented in the quilt show coming up Friday. Don't let me get ahead of myself into the grateful list. Those of you who are new here, we like to talk about what we're grateful for as we sew along. And I'm just really pumped with the way this project turned out. I cannot wait to see it outside in the sunlight tomorrow. It's going to be fantastic. If you have not already done so, please make sure that you have downloaded the new series of blocks. We're going to go ahead and get started real soon here with our roll and spin to determine. But before I dive in, I want to encourage those of you who have been doing series 1, get those quilts wrapped up and finished. And then also, you may want to give yourself a new challenge. Of course, I'm going to keep using a lot of the same scraps that I had prior, but I do have a new fabric line coming out. It's called Groundworks by Tex, and it's very similar to the New Worlds anthology that I did, where they're tonals, but now these are going to go ahead and be colors on top of neutralized backgrounds. A long time ago, I made a really cool log cabin quilt that was featuring both brights and low volume neutrals, so I created this part to kind of be the neutral worlds of the whole thing. So I'm going to try to mix these in as kind of the background colors throughout the next 35 blocks I make. So I'm going to kind of let the focus color wheel help me determine how I'm going to try to use these. Now I only have kind of 1 or 2 in each color range, so I have a feeling I've got quite a challenge in front of me. But the best way that we can learn and grow as quilters, maybe even humans, is to push ourselves, but push it where it's safe, right? Okay, so here we go, folks. We are going to roll for Scrap Masters. Remember, there are no rules, but we're going to choose the very first block for Series 2 right here. 6-sided die. What do we got? What do we got? Oh, I like the way that starts. Block number 6. Let's look at them all together, folks. And if you've just downloaded the pattern, I've got the breakdown on the units. We're really focusing on 2.5-inch pieces because that way I have my 3-inch squares pre-cut down for us. And we do have several pages of the unit building. Block 1, kind of a play on last season's chain block. This is a checkered point on point. Woo-hee! Lots of half square triangles in that one. Only half as many in this one, block 3. I think that's going to be really cool. I was kind of thinking a play on a flock of flying geese. Of course, I really like the way we were dealing with some of our blocks last series where they really pull color. So block 4 here is a big fun checkered star, a little more settled in block 5. And here we go, man, kind of a mixed mass crisscross star for us in block 6. This is going to be fantastic. Color family, here we go. What do we got? Spin it. Oh, blue violet. I'm calling it blue violet. That's where we're starting this time. I like that a lot. Okay. How many different fabrics do we get to use? Block 6, blue violet. Here we go. As many as 20. 1 and 2 are re-rolls. Woo! Almost fell off the table. 7 fabrics. Oh boy. Now that's going to be a bit of a challenge. However, if you're new to the program, let me break down how these patterns work. You can see I've broken down the blocks required. And I'm really writing it in lights, mediums, and darks. Most of these won't have 4 tones in them, even though some of them may have 4 different units. So I'm going to build out the units as you see here across the bottom. But I always find it's easiest to pick my fabrics first. So if I have 7 fabrics and I see a lot of dark in this block, let's choose like 3 that kind of read in that dark using our blue violet this time. And on our blue violet, I'm going to use my breakdown here on the color wheel and kind of come over here and say, what do we have? What do we have that works here? And I like this. That might be a bit of a push. So I'm going to go with 1 and 2. And I am going to use that just for some strength. So those will be my 3 of the darks. Now for the mediums, let's choose 2 because I think I'm going to use these as those lights I was referring to, right? See, these both have that kind of blue-violet feel to them. So we're going to do a monochrome block this time. Now for the lights though, because I want a little bit of a pop, what we can do, we can set our color wheel here to our blue-violet, and then that really means our pops are going to come from yellow-orange, maybe this green and yellow shade, which you know I love. So I have 2 more fabrics to choose. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pick some serious pop for this week, and there we go. Now the easiest thing from here is going to be to break down the amount of half square triangles and or solids. Squares are 2.5s, half square triangles cut down to raw at 2.5, so the 3s will yield. I hope I'm not going too fast today. The 3s will yield 2 2.5-inch square half square triangles. Oh, that's even too fast for me to say. Okay, so in that saying it, right? Okay, that means that here's my neutral backgrounds that I'm reading as my lights. These are my mediums today. So that means I'm going to be able to go ahead for these half square triangles. I'm going to go ahead and lay out one grouping and another grouping, different fabrics to make it feel scrappy. Those go half square triangle. And I also need to make, in this unit here, I need to make one of those, but also featuring the same. So I'm going to go ahead and take one more grouping. Those squares will tend to later, so let's focus on our dark half square triangles, okay? So these are the lights with the darks. And I'm going to need to make 3 times 2, which is 6, so actually 12. So let's just pair up by laying out 1, 2, 3. That's 6, remember, because we get double yield. 1, 2, 3, that's 6 because we get double yield, so those can go back. And now this will be fun. I'm going to assign one of each of these darks to each set of lights. And then I'm going to set up for chain piecing over on the sewing machine. Come down and trim all of these out and show you what I come up with the layout as I start to cut down those squares. So I'll see you in a few moments. I've got a little bit of sewing to do. You've got some designing to do. And make sure, like I said, if you are watching along right now, you're sharing some of your design ideas because we love to hear what you are all thinking out there as we dive in. Don't forget about listing up what is your favorite Halloween costume, and I will be right back with these squares. Okay, that was very, very productive. I went ahead and used my slotted trimmer first to cut down my 3-inch square sets into the 2.5-inch square half square triangles, pressed them over, and then I also took the time, I counted out my squares here. Unit 1 is all half square triangles. Unit 2, excuse me, we're going to need 1 dark, for 2 of those, and then unit 2 here, or P, excuse me, we're going to need 2 more. So technically 4 of the dark, 1 medium, 2 light. So I built out my squares and piles, kind of keeping everything organized. But I want to talk about this both in units and rows because it's our first time to build this block together. So let's take a moment and just kind of start with our center block, which is going to be 2 of the light and mediums and 2 of the dark and mediums. Let's get one more here. Yeah, I like that. And then what I want to try to do here, that's not terrible. That'll be that center block. You were just looking for contrast, right? So I'm going to go ahead and build that one out. And then I'm also going to need to make these Q blocks. So the Q blocks we're going to call, and we're making 2 of them, so make them at the same time so you can make them random. See, I'll use those for the P blocks, okay? And so in saying that, now I need one of these versions here. And so let's make it interesting where I'm going to go this way, this way. Oh yeah, and this way. Okay, you see how that makes the Q block here. So we'll need 2 of those. So we'll make that next one featuring that one there. Same kind of a feel. Always mixing and matching for as much scrap effect as possible. Okay, so are those the same? Yes, they are. So then the P's are opposite. We have more units this round that are directional. So just be aware of that. My last check is I'm kind of looking at my triangles here, lines running, making sure everything is cool. And I think just for space management right now, I'm going to go ahead and start stitching these blocks together now with a 1/4 inch. But because the blocks are designed uniquely, I'm going to do just a little bit of chain piecing, meaning I'm going to piece together the patches per unit, but I'm not going to go on to a different unit. I don't want to mix my fabrics up too much. And you know, sometimes when we're sewing, we're just thinking of all the other things that are on our mind. That's what sewing is so good for. However, today I am a little distracted. And so as I'm building these units, I don't want to get so far out in front that I have to rebuild them, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm going to get these pieces made. Always by returning to the design board and confirming, right, that I'm making the same. So that one's the same here. So this one I'm going to follow square, making my green point. I've already done it wrong. And isn't that a nice little lesson in life? Quick rotation, and we're right back on track. No Jack the Ripper today. Maybe it's fun to watch you all, have you all watch me struggle too with each of the blocks. They became so second nature by the end of the last cycle, but my goodness, you can see here, I really do need to focus on some of my color and positioning of the units themselves, which is pretty fun. So I'm just going to go ahead and start talking about our announcements for the day while I piece together these 4 blocks. Hopefully, I've got the mic set so you can enjoy the conversation as well as watch what's going on here with my hands working, and maybe I'll be able to keep up with all the things I want to tell you. So again, thank you folks for being a participant in our wonderful Facebook group. If you haven't already signed up for there, please do. Make sure you answer the 3 questions so that I will let you in. If you haven't subscribed here to our YouTube channel, please be part of our 83, almost 84,000 members. We are having so much fun that way and just having a blast sewing and growing together. Thank you for being a part of it as you are. Thank you for commenting in the chat and all of that kind of stuff as well. And I'll let you know about some of our special events we have coming up. So one of the things we're really excited about, of course, is our Quitman Outdoor Quilt Show. So if you're local, that's happening tomorrow, Saturday. And there's not only just the quilt show, but there's kind of a community festival, fall festival going on. We had a bounce house last year and cornhole tournaments and music and everything. It was just fantastic to be out there. Really enjoyed it. And the weather's looking like it's going to be perfect. I'm super excited. Not much wind, not much sun, because you know it gets pretty warm here in Texas. So if you're anywhere close, please come and join our annual outdoor quilt show, which is also connected to our anniversary. Here's the gig. I want to hit the retail center first thing in the morning before they open up.
Rob, you and I both know why these quilters come in here. It's to get that 29% off for our 29th anniversary.
Exactly, Pat. And what we're going to do is we're going to start along the kit wall.
But how are we going to distract Kara?
I know. She watches this place like a hawk.
Yes, she does. She keeps it locked up.
Easy, Pat. Every great plan starts with a catering cart. You'll meet me at the supply closet. wheel me past Kara. I'll take care of all the rest. Get back in the cart and we'll bust out of there.
Sounds like a plan. Rob, are you serious about the Quiltworks kits as well?
Yes, Pat. The Quiltworks kits are also on sale, but we're going to do a drive-by. I want you to go buy that table real quick and then just keep on rolling. What I need is your help here with all of that fabric.
Ooh, that's going to be tough because Kara keeps a close eye on all that stuff out there. She keeps it nice and neat and tidy.
What if you just get my cart close enough and maybe I can do a little swapperoo?
Ooh.
Okay, so your job, buy me as much time as possible.
She won't even know it's happening. You think we'll get caught?
Oh, Pat, why would you even think that way?
Well, just thinking, you know.
What you doing?
Oh, just getting the shop all ready for the big sale.
Don't you know everything's on sale online now?
Oh!
And now our anniversary sale. So that's right, we're doing an anniversary sale, 29% off site. Now, I didn't say store, but it's also store, of course. Site-wide, folks. So this year you get to participate if you're remote. Now, there are a few exclusions. I think sewing machines are priced according to the manufacturers. There's a couple things we're just not allowed to discount. But for the most part, it's a site and store-wide 29% off because we are 29 years old this year at Stitchin Heaven. And it's just been such an amazing part to be part of this quilting community. So we want to say thanks. We want to celebrate with all of you. So take advantage whether you're online or you're here for the quilt show and in person. Of course, we have the retreat going on. I think next on the calendar really is going to be the December, let me check my notes, December 4 through 6, which is our Handy Quilter long arm training seminars. And those are going to be happening here in Quitman at Stitchin Heaven. Fantastic opportunity for those of you who have long arms or even better are interested in purchasing a long arm. Of course, it's the greatest way to get your hands-on experience, get all those questions asked one-on-one, have time to really try before you buy. I always think we should call these things demo days, but that's because I'm an old-fashioned water skier and I used to love to go to the lake on those demo days, if you know what I'm saying. Hey, if you're a water skier out there too, why don't you let me know if that's something you like. If you're wakeboarding, if you're wake surfing, if you're water skiing. I picked up an old school wood water ski recently that I just think is fantastic. I haven't got to ride it yet, but it sure looks awesome. And I'm getting excited to get out there and try that as well. Okay, so not only with the Handy Quilter event coming up, I'm most excited probably about the New Year's Day Mystery Quilt Sew Along. That's an annual event we do with a soup recipe and a mystery quilt pattern. As you know, Tiffany Hayes and myself will both be teaching, and I believe it starts 9 a.m. Central Time. It runs about 5 hours. We do all kinds of fun prizes and ways to participate in it. The pattern is released on that day. We do a pre-record in case anything goes wrong, so we've got your backs there. The kits are now being built. I just love it when I get to come out to Stitchin Heaven and watch what's going on here. Now, oh, by the way, how great is the new flannel, right? Don't you love it? Don't you love it? Now, check out what I've got going on in the background. They are starting to package the mystery quilt kits. This is a Team Tiffany setup, and this is not all the parts and pieces. But when we talk about a pre-cut, we're not talking about like 10-inch squares, 5-inch squares, 2.5-inch strips. We're talking about the pieces all being ready and set up. And don't forget, those of you who are struggling with your storage needs, baking trays. Go big, go baking trays. And I probably should do this for my dear friend Tiffany because, folks, here's the situation. It's not a team. We call ourselves Team Rob, Team Tiffany because I'm the carefree quilter and she's the passion for precision quilter. That's what the team thing was all about. However, that being said, I'm smoking her on kit sales. We have a little personal competition, her and I going together, and who can sell the most kits or t-shirts. I love selling t-shirts, you know. That way we get the brand out there, and I love seeing everybody at quilt market and festival and everywhere I go wearing my t-shirt, so that's awesome. And I think that's part of the problem that Tiffany's experiencing, like I said, is we're just really winning, guys. We're just doing great with Team Rob. So we need Tiffany's support. And so, yeah, I'm asking for you all right now. If you're interested in one of those wonderful pre-cut kits, you might, I know mine are better, but you may want to look at Tiffany's anyways. That's all I'm going to say about Tiffany's kits. New Year's Day sew along, that is going to happen. Well, New Year's Day, figure that out on your own. But no, January 1st. And it's super fun. It is free to participate. We do need your email so we can get you the patterns and all the information and build you into our prize system. And that's the way a lot of times we'll do our prizes and stuff. So just be aware, we have on stitchinheaven.com a page for you all that you can go to and get ready for that. Super exciting. There is still time to sign up for our Icon quilting cruises. You've heard me talking a lot about this. I guess I'm a little disappointed. The quilt cruise, oh, and you're probably disappointed too. The quilting cruise I'll be teaching on in Alaska in August of 2026 is sold out. However, the reason I'm disappointed is it is not on an Icon cruise ship. I was so excited. You know, Stitchin Heaven is partnered with Royal Caribbean, and we do a lot on their ships. It's amazing. And this new Icon class cruise ship is supposed to be just stellar, and I haven't got to experience it yet, and I was hoping I would get to. But we use the smaller ships up in Alaska because of being able to go in and out of the inland passages and stuff. So at any rate, you can still sign up for the most glorious, glamorous quilting experience at sea through the Icon Quilt Cruises, stitchinheaven.com. Check out the cruise page. I need to focus here on this Unit 1, Unit U. There we go. I got it. Okay, now back to the advertisements, of course. So there are 3 different choices, January and into February on those Icon cruises. Check them out. Great instructors, great places to be, and of course, incredible cruise ships. We're really excited about using these Icon ships. I think, our fearless leader, Deb, has spent a little time on board the Icons already and says it's pretty fantastic, that's for sure. All right, let's have a quick look at this center unit, Unit U. Okay, so that's what my version is going to look like this week. And isn't that the fun of Scrap Masters? That rule being no rules necessary is we're going to just make our own versions. We do still need to assemble here 4 of these extra. These are Unit C's. These are all going to look the same, and you're going to be stoked because we're basically going to now use, I guess, what I'm still calling, now these ones are going to be a little bit different because now here comes my lights. So I'm just going to use one of each of these prints. Then I'll use, I guess, what I thought was going to be a medium block, now up in there. And then I'm going to try to just use the other one with the green. Do I get a choice, though, there? Well, maybe I will build that block different so that the prints are different. See how the prints are different there? I think I like that. Let's see if I can do it with all 4. That's a good trick, folks. When you're working through your designs and it's kind of random or scrappy, it's really great to build your units out first so that you have an idea of what it is you're working with completely, so you don't end up through process of elimination in a place you don't really want to be left in. Okay, and this is what I have to work with here. So it's not going to be the perfect rotation because now these prints will touch. So if that bothered me, I could have a choice. I could actually switch these out. So now it's even a little bit more random looking, or just have one, what we would refer to a long time ago as the Maverick block. So I think I'm going to go with the Maverick block today. Easiest way to stitch these together is obviously straight lines here on those wonderful 2.5-inch squares. And maybe as I'm wrapping this up, it's time to go ahead and get ourselves into our conversation this week, which we always love to do on the grateful list. Talking about not only what I'm grateful for, because it is such a good reminder, I think, to get up and remind ourselves what we're grateful for, but hopefully giving some clues out there to all of you that maybe are having a day a bit like myself, where it just doesn't feel like I can get the right button pushed or the right fabric stitched together. But like I said, that's the cool thing about days. There is another one tomorrow. And please make sure for all of you there is another one tomorrow, okay? We're just sewing here. We're just sewing. That's all we're doing. Now, I'm going to build these blocks like I was doing before. So square, triangle out. I'm not going to build these until each one of these is done. And now, number 1 item on my grateful list, and I did mention it as part of our announcements, but I am so excited to be here for the Outdoor Quilt Show. It's going to be fantastic. I hope to have a recap video, a little fun, maybe 10-minute walkthrough so you all can enjoy the quilts that are not here with us locally. You can get involved that way and see what's going on even if you are remote. That way you'll know to book your trip next time. So yes, outdoor quilt show. Not only is the weather supposed to be delightful, but I just absolutely love viewing the quilts outside. And then I really enjoy, because it's just an open to the public thing, there's a lot of folks that will experience quilts tomorrow that are not normally watching or looking at quilts. And so the conversations about what they're seeing or what they're being exposed to is always so fun. The difference between art and craft is the conversation. The people that are drawn to the colors. I hear from a lot of gentlemen that are out there, my family member made quilts and this was always special to me. A lot of education happens. We even have a sewing booth, I think, for the youngsters. Tori's going to be there working with that. So yeah, outdoor quilt show, definitely number one on the grateful list. I'm super, super excited. And it's probably a little bit of a cheat to say that Series 2 of Scrap Masters is already a highlight, and it's not something that I'm grateful for, but I truly am, folks. And not only am I grateful for the Scrap Masters Series 2, but because I'm here in Texas, I was talking to the events team, and we're really talking about doing what would be a Scrap Masters retreat. What do you think about this? So I need your feedback. I want to do a Scrap Masters retreat in person, like a Camp Scrap Masters, where we can have kits provided, so all your pieces are pre-cut down into your 3-inch squares. We'll spend a few days rolling and spinning our ways to an amazing quilt top. I think that'd be super awesome. I'm also tempted to try to do an online virtual sew-along like we do with the mystery quilt during the same time. We're shooting for April right now, so if that's something that sounds at all interesting to you all, would you please even think about sending me an email, rob@stitchinheaven.com, so that I know to get you all directly connected to our events team so you get your first invitations and stuff like that. I get sometimes a little bit busy on all the different things I get to do, and I forget to let everyone know when registrations open up for my events, and then accidentally they sell out so quickly that I have forgotten to tell you, my closest friends, to come to the event. So at any rate, if you'd like to do a Scrap Master sew-along retreat, whether it's virtual or in person or possibly both at the same time, please let me know in the comments, or certainly just hit me up, rob@stitchinheaven.com. Like I said, I think that's a super, super cool thing to be doing. Let's take a sidewalk. That's right. I called it a bird walk earlier this week. And I love to do things outside of quilting, and I think it's really important. Sometimes I dive in a little too deep without checking the waters of quilting, and I get overwhelmed in a project. Maybe I don't have all my colors planned out, like what you just saw happening in this block earlier, something like that. Things go a little bit south, but I want to keep pushing. Maybe I'm on a deadline that I don't quite have time to reboot from or something like that. So at any rate, I love to do outside of my art career, art. So yes, I learned to tattoo. I've been talking about it, but we've been doing this glorious, if I may say so myself, tattoo on a friend of mine. It's going to be a full coral reef scene, and what all of you don't see is what's in my head. And that is not only these beautiful, brightly colored fish and sea turtle and jellyfish, but eventually there will be a black geometric quilting design behind all of this. And so I'm really excited about that, and I appreciate all of you allowing me to share all of my art and all of myself here as part of the Stitchin Heaven team, as part of this channel. I just really feel it's a great opportunity, and I thank you all for following all of these silly things that I have and post and whatnot. So anyways, that was 3 on the grateful list. Is more color in this tattoo, and hopefully one day this tattoo might be a tattoo that puts me on a map as a really cool fusion artist, somebody that's able to blend lots of different styles and techniques together, just making wonderful art. It's a goal of mine. I'm not embarrassed to say it. And then lastly, 4 on the grateful list is, and this is probably from as much for my wife as anybody, it's fall. Man, fall is in the air. We love fall season. I love the lighting changes. It's great for photography. I love all of the fun things that get to happen. We get to get up pretty close to the holidays, which is quilt making season, of course, if every day wasn't really quilt making season, right? Let me grab one of these to compare. Isn't that nice when you have them already built like that? So anyways, fall is in the air, and I'm excited about that. My wife loves fall. But the other thing that I learned from the changing of the seasons, and I'm more reminded of the changing of the seasons, because really, I think I'm more of a summer than a fall, don't you think? And I like summer. I like the longer lighting. I like the extended playtime and everything like that. So sometimes when the seasons change, or here we go, another life metaphor, things change in my life, it doesn't always feel like I think it should feel. And sometimes my brain gets in the way of what's really happening, and sometimes my brain's right. I don't know. But nonetheless, seasonal changes sometimes are difficult for folks. So don't forget, I think the reason the Lord made it seasonal is with the coming will also be the leaving of changes or seasons and those kinds of things. So if you weren't a summer fan, welcome to fall. If you're a summer fan, welcome to fall. If you're a winter fan, hey, it's just around the corner. We'll get there soon, kind of thing. Remember, life is always evolving, and the more we do, I think, to improve ourselves and grow ourselves, the more we can enjoy and evolve through life. Okay, let's get focused on getting this block together before my soapbox collapses today. And okay, right now I'm reading these green fabrics because I really want to see what's going to happen together. Now, this is where I made a little bit of an error in my color choice layout, calling them by the wrong names, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. Now, when we get into these, we're just going to look for the squares. Oops, sorry, that's probably not even easy for you all to see here. So right now, let's just working around the top. So I need one of these that's going to have the square here. Then one with a square here. Okay, the square is going to line up next to that. Oh, right, because that kind of makes that other square design there. And then that should be the same, that square lines into there. Ooh, that is fun. That is pretty. Not exactly what the color layout I thought was going to be, but all of a sudden I can already tell. I believe if I keep up with this concept of adding in my low volume neutrals throughout the whole project, I think we're going to have a new winter quilt. I didn't say winter. Don't get stuck on the seasons things, folks. I said a winter. This one's obviously glorious, but it was its own project. And thank you again, Carl and Mona and Patty and all of you that sabotaged my stash at week 25 or whenever it was, when you got a hold of the stash at the last retreat we were all at. And you went ahead and added in the Tula Pink Cat fabric. That really changed the way I started looking at the quilt and how to use certain pieces of fabric to tie it all together. That was a very important learning lesson for me. Folks, because of the layout now, I am able to chain piece the blocks themselves. So just note, I'm moving on to the next row, grabbing those blocks. And then I'll do the same, but as I cut them off of the chain, I'm remembering that the one at the top is going to be the one at the bottom down here. If that little trick helps y'all. Okay, so that means that this one is here. We'll know which one our center is. And this one was here. And now what I'm going to do is sew on the other sides before I go to the iron, because at the iron I can then press the block units in a nestling fashion, right? So that the seams are opposite each other. That'll make my patchwork go together even more smoothly. So again, just chain piecing now, lining up those little stitch points, the seams from the squares. And just feeling so excited, like I said, about the quilt behind me and the way it turned out. And I really enjoyed that challenge that was offered to me once I was settled into the concept. I think that was why I was okay. So now I felt excited to try something new at the beginning of Series 2 because I'm settled into the concept. I need to learn the blocks. But now I'm adding a new fabric. So I'm sure you'll watch me struggle over the next few weeks as we design out these blocks and I start to try to add in the low volume neutrals. And of course, there's lots of wonderful low volume neutrals out there. Mine happen to be, like I said, coming out soon from Benartex, and they are designed to match my Groundworks line, or excuse me, my New Worlds line, and also the Shadow Blush line in there. Okay, again, this bottom row should be the top, but it's rotated. Green points out. Green points out. So that was probably rotated 2. This would be a good time to double check to see, like, see how almost that green line's in there? I wonder if it would matter if I did that. It does. It ruins that. Okay, back we go. All right, let's get that 2 sets of rows pressed out. That does help a bit. Then we're going to go ahead, make sure everything's lined up correctly. So on this last row, and I just want to again say thank you all for being here each and every week. I hope you're all as excited about Series 2 Scrap Masters as I am. Of course, you're welcome to keep working on Series 1. You're welcome to mix and match the blocks. Whatever seems like a fun way to just keep yourselves sewing. The intention is to make sure we all had something on our to-do list in case we didn't know what to do with ourselves in our sewing rooms, because that sometimes can be a real trigger point for me, really send me into a weird space. Speaking of weird spaces, I want to say thank you for subscribing and being here. Make sure you are subscribed to that Facebook group and you're posting your wonderful photos of your Scrap Masters blocks. Just post them all now. Who cares which ones they are? Let's just have fun with this. And I do want to hear from you all about whether you'd like that retreat, a Scrap Masters event like that. I think that'd be fantastic. I thought of a follow-up question if you would like to post in the comments, even if you've already posted. What about your favorite Halloween costume? I want to know, did you make it yourself? So let's end that way today with a super happy Halloween. I'll see you all at the Quilt show tomorrow, hopefully. And if not, I'm sure I'll be seeing you all online for our 29th anniversary sale that is happening, I believe, today, Friday and Saturday. Enjoy yourselves. Check out our first creation from Scrap Masters, Series 2 blocks. And again, help yourself to the free download of the patterns. And we will see you all next week. Check out the tutorials coming up on the Wednesdays. And until then, folks, stay well.